Well, hello everybody. Roxanne Govari and Santiago Guerin of Pemberley Realty. And today we're discussing managing multiple offers for sellers.
Pretty interesting topic. I know the market is a little bit different today. Maybe not getting tons of offers like back then, 10, 15 offers. But, how do you manage one or two is a little bit more realistic now in these days. But
Yep.
let's go over it and hopefully everyone can learn something new today.
Well, it's interesting. I do remember there was a property that I put on the market, and I think it was prior to COVID. COVID had not hit yet, and we had 75 offers on that property. And it's not like we grossly underpriced it or anything like that. But even then, we had a huge amount of interest on that property, and the way that we actually handled it was to basically say, uh, nobody call us, because there was just physically between me and two of my partners that were working with me. There was no way that we could field answering everybody's calls.
Yeah.
So we pretty much said text only, send your offer, and we will send you a counter offer to every single offer. And
Yeah.
and that is something that not every agent is willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But we managed to send everybody a counter, and then we basically managed the offers through a spreadsheet that we made, and it's very interesting because when you do that, when you put everything on a spreadsheet, and then you send counters, and then you start receiving responses to those counters, kind of a pattern
Yeah.
emerges even within the 75 offers that we had.
Yeah.
We were able to narrow them down to between 15 and 20, and then from 15 to 20 top offers, then we narrowed them down again to 10, then narrowed them down to 5, then narrowed them to 3, and then from the 3 we were able to pick the winning offer. It
Uh,
still requires a lot of work. But I think in that case, and a lot of cases like that, we ended up getting some significant amount of money more than what asking price was. And that's what happens when there's a bidding war.
yeah.
Now, on the other end of the spectrum is what we're experiencing right now,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And what we're experiencing right now is lack of bidding wars.
How would you, sorry for kind of interrupting, but how do you handle with your clients maybe being a little bit more emotional of, they're only getting one offer, but they're, not wanting to take that offer because they might think their home is worth more or they could get something better. How do you handle that?
Well, there are certain aspects that are basically um, comes down to educating the client, right? So when you're living in a home and then you have to sell that home,
Yeah.
there's a lot of emotions that are involved, and that is one of the reasons why you hire a professional, because
Yeah.
the professional is not emotionally involved. And so then relying on the professional to basically feel things outside of the immediate emotions that occur,
Yeah.
is the way to go,
Yeah.
right? Because you have to set what your objectives are. What is your goal? What is the goal of the sale? Is the goal of the sale to maximize your profit? Is the goal of the sale to go through an easy process? Is the goal of the sale to sell to somebody that you really want have the privilege of having that property? These are all questions that come up when you're making a sale. Like for example, a couple of years ago, I think it was either last year or the year before, we sold a property um, that the seller was not concerned with getting top dollar. The seller was a firefighter, and he was very much interested in selling to another service provider. He didn't care if he got top dollar. He cared that the house was sold to another service provider, and he ended up taking an offer that was $35,000 less. um, but he made sure that it was actually, so from a firefighter the house went to a teacher, because he wanted to make sure that his house was sold to another service provider.
And is that something you can do? Like pick like someone that you want to buy your home?
So as long as you are not discriminating,
Mm-hmm.
as long as you're not discriminating based on other factors.
Yeah.
So if you're choosing your buyer based on, a service provider to a service provider, that is something that you can do. But if you say, okay, well, I want to uh, definitely I do not want to sell to a couple, I want to sell to a single person, that is still may not be within the limits of the law,
Yeah.
but it could cause a problem. Or, for example, if you say, okay, well, I want to sell to a certain demographic of people, that would definitely be against the law, right? So it all depends on how you make your decision, and how you decide to choose
Mm-hmm.
who you want to sell to. For example, if you say, okay, well, I want to make sure that I'm selling to an owner-occupied buyer versus to an investor, that's not against the law.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you say, I don't want to sell to a family that has a disabled child, then
Yeah.
that would be a
Yeah.
problem.
And how would you go on about now with negotiating? Like, let's say you get just one offer, how would you negotiate that one offer? Or if you get two, how would you negotiate with those two offers? What are some tips and, you know, tip and ideas you can give to agents out there?
So, it all depends on how desirable the property is, and
Hmm.
it also depends on how well you have priced the property.
Okay.
And like for example, we have had situations where in this market that is a soft market, the seller has put their foot down and said, "I want a certain amount of money, and if I don't get that amount of money, I'm not selling."
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, for that property or for that seller to make a demand like that, the property better have something that makes the cherry property. Otherwise, why would a buyer in a buyer's market, and in a market where there's lots of inventories, go for that?
Yeah.
So the uniqueness of the property could help the seller demand what they want. The price of the property could demand the seller to it could basically help the seller to demand what they want. And also the
Yeah.
condition of the property could also help the seller demand what they want.
Yeah.
So
And how can you convince like a seller that, they gotta take the offer that they have if they want to sell, or how can you go on about that? Because I know some agents might be scared to come up to the seller to tell them, hey, this might be the only option you have, and then they'll just listen to the seller and drop that offer and you know be in the market for a lot more days. How would you go on about that? On bringing it up, on telling them.
I think presenting data is the best way to do that, right? So you can pull up the data for the seller and say, basically, here's what the comparables look like. Here's
Yeah.
the average days on market. The longer you wait, the lower the price will be. So go from here to here and basically look at what your choices look like and present data, present as much information as possible. At the end of the day, we all make the best decisions based on the information that we have under our fingers.
Yeah.
And if the information is presented, if everything is explained in detail, then the seller is in a position to make a better decision.
Yeah. Hmm.
And that's what you would have to do if you're servicing the client and you want to make sure that you service the client to the best of your ability. Then that's what needs to get done.
Yeah. Yeah. And what are some tips to the agents out there to be prepared for, one offer or five or six, if they do get a good amount of offers?
I think in this market, it is critical. Pricing the property is critical. So you want to make sure that you're pricing the property. You want to make sure that you are very familiar with the comparables. You
Yeah.
want to make sure that you price the property very carefully. And I would also say that you really want to make sure that you price the property, if whatever market value is, price the property under market value, and not to get multiple offers, because you may still not get multiple offers if
Hmm.
there's not enough buyers to go around. Then even if you are going under market value, you still are not going to get multiple offers, but
Yeah.
at least you are going to make the house or make the property more affordable, and your chances of actually getting any buyer to come forward and be willing to buy the property is going to be a lot higher.
Okay. So basically, do your homework, right?
Do your homework. Exactly. Well said.
Do your homework on it. Yeah.
Well
I mean,
said.
because the market is not in the favor of sellers right now, so being on top of things is very important, I feel.
Being on top of things is very important, and it's really important to also figure out what it is that you want to get out of a sale, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't have the equity to basically sell at a price that is going to cause the property to sell, maybe it's not the right time to sell,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
But if you have to sell, then think of it this way: you may lose some money right now in this particular sale, but you may make it at the next purchase that you make. Or you may, if you have to move and you have to sell in order to move, then that move may bring you money at the other end.
Yeah.
For example, if you're moving for a job, and that job is going to be a much more high paying job, well, you may be losing money here selling this property right now. But if you're going to get earn a lot more money out of the next job that you're going to get because of this move that you're going to make,
Hmm.
then you're going to make up for it there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it all depends on the circumstances. But at the end of the day, I think nothing is achieved by looking at the tunnel vision of what you're looking at and what you're thinking of as the possibility. You kind of have to look at it as a wide range, and then weigh all the options together and see what is the
Yeah.
best way of moving forward.
And any things not to do for agents out there during the process of, getting offers, getting one, too many offers? What are some things you would say, like, stay away?
We had a situation where somebody walked in to an open house, and the question was, why is the seller selling?
Yeah.
And that is one of those questions that people may ask, agents, buyers agents may ask, potential buyers may ask, and you've got to be very closed mouthed when it comes to a sale, because there is times to share and there's times not to share. And if it comes to conditions, if it comes to disclosures, if it comes to desirability, you definitely have to share, pertinent information that's material to the sale. But beyond that, if you the reasons why a seller has to sell is not one of those things that you want to share.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because as a seller's agent, your fiduciary duty is to the seller, and if you're sharing the reasons why they have to sell,
Mm-hmm.
and you're giving an upper hand to the buyer in that sharing of information, then you definitely don't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other things you want to do?
Well, let's talk about other things. Let's talk about preparation for the property. Let's talk about a pricing of the property. If you are putting a house on the market, I think it is a very good idea to make sure that you come up with a timeline, and you come up with a strategy in terms of prepping the property, making any repairs that need to be done, making sure that the clutter is removed, making sure that you take professional pictures, making sure that the property looks its best before you go on the market. Make sure that the property is accessible. A lot of the times, for example, if you have a tenant and the tenant does not want to make it easy for the buyer to see the property, then that's going to affect the value of the property, and it's going to affect the final price. So so think about it. Is it better to try to have the tenant leave prior to the sale so that you can get top dollar? So again, talking about what to do or what not to do, that would be another one of those
Discussions to have.
discussions to have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right.
I don't have any more questions. I think we covered a good amount. I don't know. Do you have any other things to tell agents out there?
Well, let's talk about Pemberley, right?
Yeah.
So we are a boutique brokerage here in San Diego, California, and we're always looking to partner up with agents if they are local. We would love to have you contact us and see if we're a good fit for you. You can reach us at our website and check out the benefits that we provide, or you can reach out to me at my phone number. You can reach out to Santiago. There's his phone number. You can check us out at our website, or you can give us a follow on Instagram or on Facebook. And if you are an out of area agent, we would love to partner up with you as well. So give us a shout out, and let's have discussions. Let's exchange referrals, and we're always happy to be a partner with you in every capacity. And other than that, make it a great day. Thank you for joining us today.
Subscribe on YouTube too.
Great job. Great job. Subscribe on YouTube, and give us a thumbs up if you're watching this and if you like it. And we'll see you next time.
Bye everyone. Have a good weekend.